So I'm going to be breaking down Dana White Contender Series Week 7, and starting with the first fight, we have not a welterweight, we have a flyweight fight between Igor Da Silva and Johanta Silva. Now, one interesting thing I want to mention about Johanta Silva is, firstly, represents Italy, but he is Brazilian, and I find it really interesting that a Brazilian guy is fighting in Cage Warriors. That that's very interesting to me, but still, an interesting thing I do want to mention about Johanta Silva is how much he weighs for some of his fights. He's actually fought as low as 115, so male strawweight, and he seems like a very small flyweight, 5'5", and in some of these flyweight fights, he's weighing in under the flyweight limit. He did weigh in 125.5 pounds though for the fight against Igor, but still, I think this guy's very undersized for flyweight, which is something to keep your eye on. Like, he fought a 119-pound bout, and he literally weighed in 117 pounds, so 2 pounds under that limit. So this guy's really undersized, and he's taken some time off. He fought in March of this year, but before that, he didn't fight since 2019. So that's something to keep your eye on. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting about this guy. He's fought very undersized. He's only 26 though, so he's still young. But his opponent Igor Da Silva is even younger, and yeah, Igor Da Silva seems like a really smart fighter from the little I've seen. He seems like he has pretty good fight IQ from the clips I've seen of him. So I'm going to go with Igor Da Silva here. I think he'll be able to outsmart Johanta Silva, and I think he's just going to have I think he's going to sort of not ragdoll him, but push him around a little bit. I think he's going to have a big power threat, I think he's just going to have a lot of physical advantages here over the Johanta Silva, just because Johanta Silva is like very undersized for a flyweight, which is the smallest males division in the UFC. So yeah, I feel like this guy would be much more suited to men's strawweight, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm going with Igor Da Silva here, and then we have a lightweight fight between Kanan Kruszkowski, which is like a very Polish name for a Brazilian guy. So I imagine he's got some like Polish roots or something like that. But he's taking on Kanan's taking on Dylan Mantello, and Dylan Mantello, I think he's better than his record shows, but again, he's not beating the highest level of competition. Lost to 5-5 John Ramirez, but then he did redeem that loss, which is good. And Archie Colgan's, he's not a bad fighter by any means. 8-0, 3-0 on the amateurs, and he's got good wins against Emmanuel Sanchez and Justin Montalvo. So he's not like a bad fighter to lose to by any means. So it's not like a horrible loss, but his wins aren't really the best. And Kanan Kraszewski, I would say he's beat the better guys. He did get chinned by a 12-5 guy, but that's not too bad, and that was 4 years ago, so I'm sure he's improved since then. Oh yeah, the guy he lost to was the guy that Reese McKee beat in like his return to Cage Warriors, I believe. Or actually, I think that was the fight they got him to Cage. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, the fight after he lost to Alex Moreno. But yeah, I'm gonna be going with Kanan Kucherweski. I think he's gonna get this one done. Beat the he beat the goat Adriano Martins, and Adriano Martins beat Islam Makhachev. So MMA math says that this guy is going to go on and do great things. Obviously not, but still, he did beat Adriano Martins, which is a good win. He's a lot older than I thought he was. He's 32. Mantello's 30. trains a Longo and Weidman, so he's a Longo and Weidman guy. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Kanan here, but I'm not super confident on it. I think Dylan Mantello is better than his record says, but I am gonna go with the Brazilian here. And then we have a fight between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in Talita Elka versus Stephanie Luciana. I'm gonna be taking the Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in Taliata Elka here. I think she should get this one done. She's got really good jiu-jitsu. She is a lot older than Stephanie Luciano, but I think she should get this done. I think her ground game is just obviously she hasn't beat the greatest level of competition, but her jiu-jitsu is very legit. So I'm just gonna go with her here. I'm not super confident on this pick. It is women's MMA at the end of the day, so who knows what's going to happen. Maybe Talieta's going to get her first fucking KO in this fight against Stephanie Luciano. You never know. But yeah, I'm just going to go with her in this one. I think they're trying to build her up. So yeah. And then we have Jacoby Jones versus Daniel James Allen. Now, Jacoby Jones has a really questionable loss on his record to Austin Worms. He was 4-3. Now he's 5-5. I don't like that loss for him, but that was a year ago, and it seems like he has improved his takedown defense and his ground game from what I've seen. So I'm gonna go, but Daniel James seems pretty dangerous. 17-second KO. But outside of that, he's beat 2-4 Luis Vargas, beat 3-4 Ivan Mayer. He's not beaten the highest level of competition. It is a little bit weird he's getting this opportunity. He is 31 years old, so I guess it's now or never. And he's from AKA. He's training out of the same gym as Habib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and all them guys. But I think I'm going to go with Jacoby Jones here, 27 years old. Powerful guy. He's got a few corner stoppage, referee stoppage. So this guy's style must break people down. He's got a 9-second KO on the amateurs, so he's got some power in here, and he's got some submission wins. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacoby Jones here. I think he'll get this one done. And then we have a fight I'm pretty excited for in the heavyweight division between Shamil Gaziev versus Greg the Viking King Velasco. Wow, this guy does look like a fucking Viking. He looks like a really big version of Matthew Semmelsberger. He actually does, now that I'm looking at him. Holy shit, he actually looks like Matthew Semmelsberger if he had short hair and was 30 pounds heavier. But he has a loss to the GOAT, Hamdi Abdullah by split decision. So that's interesting. Can't wait for Hamdi to return from his fucking USADA suspension. I enjoyed his fight style. I liked his fight against Dontel Mace. So it's unfortunate he's one of the rare ones to pop. He probably would have been big for Egyptian MMA if they could have just let it pass. It's just Hamdi. It's fucking heavyweight, But still, Greg Velasco, he's got a win over. Last fight was against Ronald Coleman, and he got a KO. He trains at a Christian boxing academy. I wonder if that's a religious boxing academy or if it's just the guy who runs it's called Christian. But still, yeah, he got punches in the second round. So I think this guy's cardio is pretty good. A lot of his wins do come in the second round. Heel hooks, rear naked, submission to strikes, punches. But I don't think his striking is as good as Shamil Gaziev's. Shamil Gaziev's, he knocked out Darko Stodcevic, which is a really good win because, Jamal Hill couldn't even knock him out. And against Phil DeFries, it took Phil DeFries 5 rounds to get him out of there, and it was a retirement, not a proper KO. So I really like that Shamil Gaziev's getting a KO against him. Nobody's, besides Yuri Prohaska back in 2014, nobody's really starching Darko Sozovic like that. So I really like this for Shamil Gaziev. And, Shamil Gaziev comes out of that uh, KHK MMA team in Bahrain. I know it says that Islam Makhachev trains out of there, but I think he's maybe done a few trained out of there, but he's not really one of their major fighters. So the same with Muhammad Makayev. He trains there, but he's mostly out of the UK. But Shamil Gaziev's like the first fighter that only really trains out of there. I think I'm correct on that. But there's a lot of guys coming out of that gym that are really, really high level guys. That are probably going to eventually be in the UFC. They got the backing of the Bahrain royal family, and they've got all the funding for all the best equipment, all the best training partners, and everything. So I think we're going to see a lot of fighters coming out of Bahrain. I know Shamil Gaziev's obviously Dagestani, but still, it is cool to see all these guys coming out of Bahrain. And yeah, I think he's going to be the first of a new wave coming out of that gym, KHK MMA team. And I think he's going to get this one done by KO. I like his, he is a grappler, but I think he's got a big advantage on the feet here against Greg Velasco. So I think he will get this one done. And, this guy's got pretty impressive resume, 10-0 as a pro, 9-2 as an amateur, hasn't lost since 2019. And, he lost to a guy with a nov at the end of his name as well. So, wow, this guy's name is Gazhimurad Dinov. Yeah, holy shit, what a name. But yeah, I like this fight for Shamil Gaziev. I think he's going to, holy shit, he fought at super heavyweight back in the day. Oh my God, he weighed in at 301 pounds. Holy shit. But yeah, I like Shamil Gaziev. Hopefully he has more success in the heavyweight division than Shamil Akramin. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Shamil Abradimov. Guy fought like Pavlovich and Chris Dorcas and all them, and Jalton Almeida. I think Shamil Gaziev actually does have I feel like he could actually be ranked level at the very least. He seems good from what I've seen. He's a proper Dagestani wrestler at heavyweight as well. So yeah, I hope he gets this one done. It'll be cool to get that team from Bahrain, some fighters in the UFC. That's a big market for the UFC, and yeah, I think he's going to get this one done, and I think he'll definitely get a contract. They signed Caio Machado, so I feel like any heavyweight on this season, they're set, because the fact that Caio Machado is getting signed just means anybody is getting signed on this season, man. Like I don't rate Caio Machado at all. At all. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Caio Machado is horrible. He just got booked against Mick Parkins, and I think Mick Parkins is going to beat the absolute shit out of Caio Machado. Mick Parkins actually seems like a pretty good heavyweight. He seems technical. He's a good grappler. He's got good striking. I think he's just going to put a beating on Caio Machado in November 18th, I believe it was. So yeah. Uh, So yeah, I want some of these, like, when are they going to start booking all of these Dana White Contender Series guys? Though I feel like they haven't. Besides, Mick Parkins versus Caio Machado just got announced, so they'll probably announce that on the episode tomorrow, even though it's already been announced. But it feels like none of these Dana White Contender Series guys are being booked. It's like, hurry up and book some of these guys. Like, I don't know, it feels weird, but yeah. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.